Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the nationwide prayer campaign to end abortion forever. John Leaps Evangelization. My name is Karen Japson. Thank you for coming. I don't know about you. If you've seen the atmosphere, there's a lot of fighting going on. There's a lot of criticism and judgment. And I'm just saying to you, expect it. It's going to keep on getting worse as the elections come up. And don't fear from this. We are in the light side, the side of light and life. God is on our side because we're defending life. So don't shy back from it. It will happen. It'll get worse. Just keep going forward. So we're going to keep on praying. So let's continue now. Thank you. Thank you for joining us every day. Zachary King will be speaking today, and nothing surprises me anymore. His computer just crashed, so we're going to have him on audio. So bear with us, and he will tell you from audio. And thank you again. God bless you all. Hi, Zach.
Hey Karen, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. My laptop isn't.
I know. Poor laptop. I hope it recovers.
Me too.
So today your topic is fruits of my demonic labor. Of course, referring to the days where you were a Satanist, wizard at that. So I will let you have the floor. You're nice and loud, so everything's good.
Yeah, the devil apparently doesn't want me to tell you this because he shut down my laptop.
Yeah.
It was working fine before that. So, as a high wizard, I had a lot of jobs to do. Some jobs are very specific and some were general. I had a lot of spell work I had to do, and basically all spells go against the first commandment. So thou shalt have no other gods before the one true God. And as the high wizard, you kind of set yourself up as God, and then you do whatever it is you want to do. And usually what you want to do is somebody else is hiring you to do something. Somebody pays my coven money, and then the high wizard does their bidding. As I've said in the past, I've only turned down one spell. I felt that if you donated a lot of money to our coven, you deserve the spell. Whatever it is you were trying to get, you deserve to have it. When doing spell work, most spells are lighting candles, lighting incense, saying an incantation, lighting a couple of candles, having a skull there, using a knife. And there's Satan allows the rules to be bent quite a bit. There's not anything that's really set in stone as this is how it works. Unfortunately, I say that Satan was the first Protestant. So if you don't like the way the Protestants do one thing in one religion, then you just switch religions, you go to a different one, keep trying out the different ones till you find something that you like, and then just stick with that. Satanism is done the same way. If you find a cult that you don't like, go join another one. You don't like that one, join another one. Eventually you'll find one that you like, and you'll find a way of doing it that you like. When you find the high wizard studies all different types of magic, and then in the end he does whatever makes him feel the most comfortable, which unfortunately is usually the darkest type of magic there is. The darkest type of magic, if you're familiar with magic, then you know it's voodoo, and voodoo comes from Egyptian magic, and the high wizard comes from Egyptian magic. The majority of the things that we were ultimately doing, because we did spells for anything. Anything that you can do in real life, you could do a spell for. But the majority of the stuff that we were going to, there's an end game to everything. So the ultimate goal was a one world government, a one world money, and a smaller population. And we did things like we met at the Bilderberg group meets every year. There's rumors that the Bilderbergs only meet every 2 years. That's not accurate. It is every year. It could be between 13 and 30 members. It's the richest people in the world. If you can think of the richest person in the world, just think right now, who do you think is the richest person in the world? They were there. So I've met the richest people in the world because they've been at these meetings. Now I know you're thinking, well, Donald Trump's only worth $1 billion. He's worth like maybe $1.3 billion. The richest person in the world has over $100 billion. So Donald Trump's not even in that same wheelhouse. And to get a smaller population, most people are not killed in the world. Okay, if we've had 57 million dead babies since 1973 just in America, just by Planned Parenthood. That's their numbers, that's their own stats. But we've got 300 million people living in this country. So, the majority of people are born. So you have to do population control after they're born. Like, how do you get rid of these people? Because you have to be able to kill people with impunity, but not be judged for it. So how do we do that? Well, it was thought of way back, way before I was the High Wizard, that if they could generate a disease of some kind, something that's incredible, something that's highly contagious, and just let it run rampant, that would kill off possibly millions of people. How do we do that? So we have to create it in a lab, and then we have to let it leak out somehow. Now, for those of you that don't watch zombie movies, you didn't see it coming. But for those of us that watch zombie apocalypse movies, we knew this day was right around the corner. It's just a matter of time before something happens and you have a 28 days later incident. When people go to bed feeling fine and wake up with a worldwide quarantine. Nobody can leave the house, and somebody should have went grocery shopping yesterday, but they didn't, and now they don't have any groceries, so they're out of toilet paper, and they can't leave their house. They can't even go to the neighbor's house because everybody's afraid. Everybody's got to practice social distancing. Somebody's got to do something. You've got to find money. Possibly money's not going to be valuable because somebody's hoarding all the money and they still don't have any food. It's a crazy world we live in. And this is the world we live in now. This isn't a zombie apocalypse movie. This isn't 28 days later or, this is some random pick any zombie movie because they're all pretty much done the same. All of them try to outdo each other for blood or gore and fantasy and, how bad can it get? Now we are, in one way, we are mindless zombies because we're of the consumer age. No matter what there is out there, there's always something better, faster, stronger, more expensive. Everybody has to follow the right artist. We have to wear the right clothes, buy the right art, buy the right book, watch the right movie, listen to the right music, listen to the right artist. So we are, in a sense, consumer zombies like that. But we have these diseases that are custom made. You made these things in a lab. This didn't come about naturally. If it came about naturally, we would have had it the entire time. It didn't just automatically get made. Just like the people that wonder where did AIDS come from in a lab. And that's a conspiracy show for another day. But H1N1 created in a lab. Coronavirus created in a lab. Created in a lab in China. We can blame Donald Trump for it all day long. Come on, Chinese government made it. Once it got out of control, they took their time in telling us about it. They could have told us sooner. They could have not made it. How about that? Would not have been a new concept. China doing something nice for a change. But no, they let the whole world get it and then tell the whole world about it. Surprise, look what you've got now. But as a result, those of us that have a weakened immune system, I'm diabetic, I'm blind, I'm missing some body parts now. My immune system is definitely compromised. I do not want the coronavirus, but I also don't believe you can prevent it from wearing a mask or whatever the different ways they say of stopping it. And I'm not real sure about if all the people that are saying that they're trying to prevent it are really doing their best to prevent it or create um, a vaccination for it. I've heard that somebody's trying to combine adrenochrome with the vaccination. For those of you that don't know what adrenochrome is, it's an actual thing. You should look it up. It's not very pleasant, and how they get it isn't very pleasant either. And that's I don't need to get us to go down that rabbit hole, but it's a very interesting place to go. Um, but as a high wizard, my job was to help move the abortion industry forward, get the population to be smaller, get a one world government and one world money, and control the population, monitor the population. These are all things that we're doing. For those of you that are unaware, we now have chips that are being put in newborn babies so that we can track them and know where they are at all times. We're working with different governments to combine the monetary system so we can have one world money. We're trying to create a one world government with everybody. We're trying to get everybody on the same page, and smaller numbers are easier to control. We're creating the diseases now and have been for hundreds of years to try and get populations smaller and smaller. At some point, we're going to have 1 billion people, which is 1/7 of what we have now. And we're all going to be using the same money, and we're all going to have the same chips. And if we don't fall into the right category and worship the right God and say yes to the right government, you're just going to die at the wayside. You're going to starve to death, or you're going to die in a FEMA camp, or you're going to die at a death squad. And that's just the way things are going to go. Eventually, Jesus comes back.
Zach,
But yes,
can I just interject here?
sure.
You're saying that all these things are already in place, but you also possibly you think that this could be diverted, correct?
I do believe it can be diverted. I don't believe that we are so far gone that it's too late. I mean, if we stopped aborting babies, think about how unhappy we must make God by killing babies every day. We kill off 1.3 million babies just in the United States and just Planned Parenthood every year. Imagine if we made God happy with something. Now, if you're wondering, well, it doesn't say the word abortion in the Bible. The word in the Bible is pharmakeia. Pharmakeia was a potion that women drank that would kill the baby and sometimes kill the mother. The word that they translated into was sorcery. It was used in Galatian and Revelation. But the word sorcery originally was pharmakeia, and it was this potion that people would drink to cause an abortion. But in the first catechism, which was made between 34 AD and 100 AD, they did use the word abortion. So that would have been within biblical times, because the Bible wasn't completed until 395. So in the same amount of time as the Bible was written, the word abortion was used. And it says in the first catechism that you're not to have an abortion.
Yes. And I'm a devout Catholic. I'm I love all I love all Christians and I love all people, but if there's a Christian who says to me, let's say a prayer, I'll say a prayer with them. I stick to being a Catholic. I believe in my beliefs. I did watch recently this prophetic program. I think they were evangelicals, and there was a husband-wife team, and the wife said that the Lord is going to raise up people to pray against abortion. And I was very surprised by that because we're one of them. So I think the Lord is giving us all the hints, all the cheat sheets, so we could actually reverse what looks like something that would definitely happen because the plans were there for how long has this been since you've been in one of those meetings? Over a decade, right?
Right. I mean, the last time I was in a meeting was 1999.
So that's 2 decades. And
Right.
and and in that meeting, you heard about them planning a pandemic.
Right.
So all of this is part of the machine, and people are still blinded to it. They're bringing up issues that are non-issues.
You know, and there was talk back then that eventually the living will envy the dead.
Yes.
And, you know, we have talk like that now, you know, and so many people, you know, just dropping dead.
Um, the
You know, there's
conversation.
also, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I was going to bring up, you were just talking about that they said they would raise up people to pray.
Right.
And it reminds me of a positive story that I know. I had two friends that died. One was named Father Bradis and one was named Father Cooney. And I think in a way, Father Cooney and Father Bradis' life is almost like a cheat sheet for life. It's almost a way, no one sneaks into heaven, but if there's a way to sneak into heaven, I think this is it. You know, so everybody needs to get a friend and make an agreement with your friend that if your friend dies first, you will pray them out of purgatory and into heaven. And their job when they get to heaven is to pray you straight into heaven, so you skip purgatory. So it'll be like the buddy system. Everybody will constantly get constant buddies, so that when somebody dies, everybody's praying for that person so they get out of purgatory. And when that person gets out of purgatory, they will pray you into heaven. Now, let me tell you the story of Father Cooney and Father Bradis. Father Bradis became a priest when he was 20 years old and died as a priest when he was 84. So he was a priest for 64 years. And Father Cooney became a priest around 1973 when he was in his early 20s, and he died this year. So I think he was in his 70s, but I'm not sure. So when they were alive, they would eat quite often. If you saw Father Cooney, you know he ate quite often. He was a large man. Father Bradis was very thin but loved to eat, and his favorite activity was eating. And they made an agreement at one time that Father Cooney said, you know, I don't know God's will, but I know that you're a lot older than me. So if you die first, will you pray me into heaven? And Father Bradis said, yes, I'll make that deal with you. And you pray me out of purgatory, and I'll pray you into heaven. We'll make that agreement right now. Well, then, every so often, Father Cooney would reiterate that deal. And Father Bradis always said, I'm okay with that. That's a good deal. I'll make that. I will definitely pray you into heaven. I will try and pray you straight in, so there won't be any time in purgatory for you. So they kept saying that. Well, eventually, Father Bradis, I think he got stomach cancer. I'm not sure. And he was sick for a while. And he wanted to keep saying Mass, and he wanted to keep hearing confession. You have to understand what kind of a priest Father Bradis was. Father Bradis would hear your confession no matter where you were and when you were. I was in Walmart one day, and I saw him at a distance, and I thought, oh, I'm going to say hi to Father Bradis. When I started walking over there, I saw another parishioner on his knees in front of Father Bradis getting absolution. And I thought, oh, I'll say hi another time because he's hearing confession in Walmart. He's a beautiful priest. So when Father Bradis got sick, he was still staying in the rectory. This was St. Raphael Catholic Church in Lehigh Acres, Florida. And he's not leaving the rectory as often as he used to. He's not going out to eat very often. He's staying inside most of the time. And finally, he got too sick to get into the bed, and to get out of bed, get into the wheelchair. And Father Cooney came in and told him, I contacted hospice, it's Hope Hospice. They're a very good company. They'll take very good care of you, and they're coming tomorrow. And Father Bradis said, thanks, but I'm not going. And he says, well, I'm telling you, we can no longer take care of you like we used to be able to. We're not as equipped as hospice is. They're going to come and get you tomorrow morning. He said, that's nice, but I'm not going. He said, Father, I'm not going to argue with you. They'll be here in the morning. And Father Bradis said, thanks, I'm not going. And Father Cooney left his room. The next day, hospice called, and he says, I'll go make sure he's awake. He's usually awake pretty early in the morning. And Father Cooney went over, checked on him, and he had died during the night. And he realized at that point that Father Bradis wasn't arguing. Father Bradis knew that he was going. He knew that he was leaving. And he was at peace, and he was joyful, and he was happy. Everything was good. And that happened on April 13th, 2015. So this year, recently, Father Cooney got really sick, and he went to the doctor to find out what was going on. And it turned out that Father Cooney had a heart condition and that he was going to die very soon. So he called the bishop. The bishop came over and started taking over all of his priestly duties, all of his daily duties, and saying his masses. And he was hearing confession. And Father Cooney knew that the bishop was overwhelmed with all the confessional going. So Father Cooney went outside the rectory in his wheelchair, and while he's dying, he's hearing confession and giving absolution. Which, if you knew Father Cooney, you'd be like, wow, yeah, that's Father Cooney. And then the next day, Father Cooney died. And he died the same day that Father Bradis died 5 years prior.
Wow.
And we took that as a sign that Father Bradis brought him straight to heaven. Because he brought him there on the same day that he died.
That's amazing.
And we thought it was amazing too. The story was relayed to me by a nun named Sister Purity. She's one of my best friends. And it was awesome to hear from her. And it was also awesome to hear the story about Father Bradis and Father Cooney. Father Cooney, I didn't know. I knew that he died. I didn't know that he died on the same day as Father Bradis.
Wow.
But I mean, that's hope for the rest of us.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
I have so many people that are paying for perpetual masses for me right now, and that are praying for me, and have hired cloistered nuns to say rosaries for me. I couldn't imagine how bad my life would be if I didn't have all these prayers and all these masses. And I'm very grateful to all of you. Thank you very much.
Oh, God bless you, Zach, for all your work. It just is such a gift that the Lord gives us the ability to intercede for one another. And all the non-Catholics that don't believe in this are missing out on so much, you know? And that's why we're trying to intercede for the people who were on the people who are trying to take control of the world, like the Bilderberg people that you've mentioned. And I had a question about something that you said. The adrenochrome. Is that something you could drink?
Yes.
Is that what
You
was,
can drink it or you can inject it.
because when you told me about one of the board meetings that you were at, you were handed a drink that smelled awful, and everybody had drinks of the same nature. They were all handed that drink, and they were told that they would have their life extended if they drink this. Do you think that was adrenochrome?
Yes, I do. But I don't think that it could be extended if you drank it one time. I think he was trying to get people to get on a regular regimen of drinking it.
Oh.
And I don't think that it was pure adrenochrome. I think that it was mixed with things.
And what did it smell like?
Garbage.
Wow. Wow. Now, could you tell the people why they want a smaller population, why there's pandemics and what all of this?
Okay, what's easier to control? A football stadium full of people? We're talking like, I used to go to Florida State. So standing room only, you can get 91,000 people in Doak Campbell Stadium. So what's easier to control, 91,000 people in Doak Campbell Stadium or 1,000 people in Doak Campbell Stadium? Obviously, to 1,000 people is a lot easier to control than 91,000. It's the same concept here. 1 billion people is a lot easier than 7 billion. 300,000 or 400,000 would be much easier than 7 billion.
Right.
You know, and for the people that think it's impossible to do that, why don't you look up how many people die every year just of natural causes, and then start adding in the coronavirus, H1N1, AIDS, the common cold. I mean, if you think about all the things that we've fought to make medicines for, if there was a polio outbreak now, I'm not sure we could stop it. You know, there's certain things that we've, you know, like kids now that get infected with something. Like, you know, when we were kids, if somebody in the neighborhood caught smallpox, all the parents would take you over there and we'd all get it.
Right.
And you'd all get it, so you'd all be immune to it later.
Right.
You know, parents are scared to do that now. Now it's like, oh no, I got to lock my child away in the basement, not let him out for 3 months.
It's sort
It's
of
like
the same concept of as Hitler and the Holocaust, you know, to kill off all these innocent people and to make them what they're not, make them animals in people's minds.
I have a question. I don't know if you can answer it.
Okay.
But I'll give it a shot. You know, there's Antifa, and Antifa is supposed to be against fascism.
Yeah.
But when Bernie Sanders was running this time, he said he was a socialist. But when he ran the first time, he said he was a fascist.
Mm-hmm.
And so was Antifa against Bernie Sanders?
It doesn't make sense.
Because they seem to be against Donald Trump, who isn't a fascist. And the last time we had a world famous fascist, it was Adolf Hitler.
Right.
But they don't seem to be fighting against neo-Nazis, and they don't seem to be fighting against Bernie Sanders. So what are they really fighting against?
Someone going against their agenda?
And then what is this concept of, we're going to call you a bully even if you're not? So like they call Donald Trump a bully, and then they bully you for not believing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to use the same tactics that you claim he uses to make us believe the same as you.
Absolutely. And even the other night, the new agenda and objective is to make it look like Trump is causing the chaos. I don't think he's doing the Black Lives Matter or what they're doing, kneeling down towards the the flag or all the confusion and the
I have a
anti-feminism that's going on. The anti-feminism, that's not the real feminism that's going on. And
I
they're,
have a solution to people that are anti-American flag.
leave the country.
Leave. Yeah, leave.
Yeah, I
You don't
agree.
like it here? Leave.
Yep.
You know, that's the same thing that other people do in other countries. People that don't like Mexico come to America. People that don't like every other country, they come here. If you don't like it here, go back there. You know,
Maybe they,
my dad used to have this thing, you know, like on the when you pay your taxes, there's a box that says if you want to contribute to the president, you check here, and they automatically take money out of your taxes. They go towards the presidential campaign. My dad had this idea that if you wanted to leave the country, if you weren't happy with here, check this box, and it would also donate money to a plane. And so every year we would fill up airplanes for people that wanted to leave the country. And we had a certain number of countries that we would fly you to. Now you have to obey all the rules and you can't come back here. But if you're unhappy here, please go.
exactly. Well, it would be filled
You
with celebrities.
know, there's lots of people that like it here. You know, one of the reasons I like being here is that I can say whatever I want. You're going to find that when you go to another country, you can't say anything that you want.
Right.
Saying the right thing gets you killed, or get you locked up in prison for life, or get you executed.
Right. Right. We have a great country. I love the United States. I am so grateful for our country. That's why I'm very vocal about it. And I know I'm coming against a lot of people, even other Catholics, but I don't care at this point because I know that what we need to do is step out of our comfort zone. And if we want to make a change, we have to be brave enough to take whatever comes.
Well,
Yeah.
it's crazy that people have these concepts of, you know, like some of the concepts just boggle my mind. Like, you know, you kill somebody that I don't even know. I don't know anything about them. I just know that they're dead. But to protest that death, I'm going to go get a brick, throw it through the Macy's downtown shopping mall, and steal a TV to protest his death. Because that benefits me. How?
And then the whole defunding the police, that's just pure craziness. Who's going to help?
What are you going to do when people are running rampant and there's no law and order anywhere?
So
Who are you going to call?
exactly. So do you see the direction they're bringing people?
Down.
Yeah, but it's not just that. They're gonna call the forces from the government and, be like I don't know.
Well, I was being interviewed and I said that you're mad because a police officer pulled out a 9mm pistol and fired 2 or 3 rounds into a person and may have killed them or may have not. And, you know, are we ever going to find out what really happened? I don't know. But if your idea is let's defund the agency that does that, or let's burn that police department to the ground, now what are we left with? Well, now we're left with a military that has 50 caliber machine guns that when you thought pulling the trigger one time pulled off 1 or 2 bullets, imagine what it's going to do when pulling the trigger one time releases 50,000 bullets.
Right.
Imagine how many people are going to be dead in the streets now. And they have a gun that can saw somebody in half with the pull of a trigger.
Wow.
You know, you were mad because one guy got shot by 1 9mm pistol, and now the U.S. Army is out there with 50 caliber machine guns, just mowing people down like they're nothing left and right. Now martial law has been declared. Now we no longer have a voting. We're not voting for the president anymore because he's a dictator, and it's your fault that he's a dictator. Congratulations, thanks for doing that for us.
Right. Right.
And this was apparently where you wanted it to go because this is where you took it.
So that's why we need these prayers that are popping up everywhere. We just need to stick to prayer, and we can't let the agenda push us around. We cannot be succumbed to fear. We need to be brave. We need our men to be knights. And we ourselves need to, have direction that can only be given by the Holy Spirit, not to cower. During the time of the Holocaust, too many people cowered and so many people were killed. So we can't let that happen again.
And all you need for great evil to flourish is for nice people to do nothing.
Exactly. So, well, thank you, Zach. We're going to have to continue next week. Thank you so much. I'm glad that we were still able to go through with this, even though your computer crashed. I hope it recovers.
Well, if it ever comes back up, we'll send you the video.
Okay, thank you so much. God bless.
All right, God bless you too. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Hi, my name is Karen Japson from John Leaf's Evangelization. We've been doing this live stream to stop abortion since May 13th, 2020, and we try to do prayers each day, every day, with speakers. If you would like to donate to this worthy cause to stop abortion, something that is righteous in the eyes of God, please donate to us at johnleaps.com, johnleaps.com, or call 800-313-6933. We could really use it, and we thank you very much. God bless you all.